Okay guys, so I got some more prints done, so I thought I would share them again because everybody liked the last things that I did. So I'm going to go ahead and share these real quick with you guys. And again, these are all pictures that I took, and these are all pictures that were taken with my Galaxy S5 phone. I don't use anything different. I haven't really taken many pictures with my camera yet, so these are all done with my phone. This is a wolf spider at Tigrosa aspersa, caught early last spring. Had her for about 2 months before she passed away. I don't know why. She was actually a very active eater, but she didn't live very long in captivity. I'm not quite sure what I did wrong with her. This is one of the local Dolomedes. I can't remember the exact species, to be honest with you. It's written down because I had a bunch of pictures, but look at, what does that look like to you? Tell me it doesn't look like a warthog. The patterning on some spiders is actually really fascinating, and these fishing spiders are really cool. We find these down at the Elk Creek right by our house here. We just lift up some rocks and they're all over the place. So okay, so like in between you're going to be staring at that little piece of rock. This here, believe it or not, kind of looks like a ghost shrimp or something, but that is Ash, the Acanthoscurria geniculata. That was the first molt that I had with her, and she's now, what, a little over 2 inches, roughly, suspected female. So that's her. Pretty cool. You catch them like that, you know, so translucent. This was my mature male 7, Monocentropas balfouri, in one of his handful of threat postures that he gave me. He wasn't a bad spider, but he wasn't an extremely nice spider either. This is, or was, my male Poecilotheria rufilata. This was before he matured. You could see, I don't know how well you could see it, but the greens in him were just unbelievable. Of course, the next molt he turned brown, but and then we shipped them off for breeding. Let's do it this way. We'll zoom you back out. This is one of the pictures I took of, first pictures I took of my adult Platymerus bigotatus, the assassin bugs. I got some pretty good pictures of them, actually. I got one, I think the last set had one when it was actually just through molt and it was still red and yellow. Pretty cool and interesting animals. That is the Ephebopus cynognathus, having a double mealworm delight after a molt. This was before I housed it into the enclosure that it's in now. So you could see just the unbelievable blue and the striking yellow bands and the hairs on the legs. Just it's amazing when you print these pictures out off of your phone how nice they really look. That was Denver, my last mature male GBB. He was traded. I didn't really want to deal with breeding him because I didn't want to know, because generally they don't live, and this was the first GBB that I ever got, so I didn't want to know what happened to him, to be honest with you, but I still have a handful of pictures from him. This is, or was, my Pteronochelys cordatus. This is another species that I'd like to get a hold of. This would be actually the last Pteronochelys that I would like to get, is one of these. We have the Murinus, we have the Tete Mozambiques coming, and then the Lugardi, and then the species Arusha. So this would be another cool one. This one didn't live very long. One of those deals, it molted, and then a week and a half later it died. So there's I think 3 or 4 pictures I have of this one still on my phone. This was my female Poecilotheria metallica. It's the one that I sold a while back. I have this picture, and then I want to do another print of her in mid-molt. You know, she's like half out of the molt and her fangs are like right in your face. It's pretty cool. I don't know why I didn't print it off in this run, but I'll do it in the next one. That was the eBear Porosaurotoma. That's the one that I sent to Alexandra and Garrett from Pelt Frictions. They'll use him as a breeder. And I got the Grammostola grossa / Ihorhyngi for this one. So, yes, that's the only good picture I have of that spider in the amount of time that I had it, almost 2 years. Only good picture I had. There's Celine, the Phaunopelma chalcodes. This is the one that's hopefully gravid right now. This is one of my favorite pictures of her, just because you can see how bulky and there she is. You know, you don't see the whole spider, but just that daunting coming out of the her hide look there. The next one's just as good, except for the mealworm kind of ruined the picture, to be honest with you. That is the Phaunopelma Gabelli. This was, oh, this is a picture I took months and months and months ago. Actually, it's probably after her last molt, so almost a year ago, I would think. And you could see how, again, how nice and brown she was here, and then her back legs were black. So she's pretty much the same color, but if you look at her carapace here, and then the part of her carapace in the back, outside of her ocular area, right now is light. Last time it was dark. So you just never know with them, you know, what's going to happen as far as their appearance is going to be. That is my little Chilobrachys fimbriatus. That's the one that I have now, not the one that I used to have. And you can see in this patterning, this was before its last molt. It's new molt. It's lighter in the back, and the patterning is much more definitive now. The next molt will be the last molt that it'll have in that enclosure, and it'll move to a more suitable home for it for the next size anyway. And this here, I honestly cannot remember which tarantula this is. I want to say this was the Aphaunopelma annex, but it doesn't really look like the Aphaunopelma annex. There were about 3 or 4 different tarantulas that were brown at this size that I had in one of these skull little things. And I have a few pictures of them, and I can't honestly to this day remember what that one is, because I don't ever name my pictures, which I probably should. But so I just thought the picture was cool because of the skull and then the spider and the cricket all there at one time. That is the male Nicaraguan Albopilosum Declan. This was before his last molt, so he's all decked out a little bit more dark here. Most of that gold's gone now. He's rather dark. You see how big he was in the abdomen, so that was prior to his last molt. This was one of my actual just goofy favorite pictures, even though you know, the flowers were a little bit more in focus, would have probably made it cooler, but I think that's what makes it so cool, is that little bit of contrast in the background there. You can see up top there, a little bit of contrast. This is the Lasiodorides polycuspulatus. I just adore this spider, but it's actually, see how big it is there? Now it's really shrunk down. It hasn't molted, so it has lost a little bit of weight. I would hope it would molt soon, but it seems like these guys are only molting once a year. I'm struggling to get these guys or this one to eat and then actually molt. It just like eats and then it'll go off food for like 3 months, and then it'll eat and go off food for 3 months. It's been a while since this one's molted. This picture is an example of how you oversaturate a Grammostola pulchripes. I was playing with the saturation part. I wanted to print this off just for my own benefit, because when I posted this on the group, everyone's like, holy crap, I didn't know they were blue. And I was like, you know, I think I overdid the saturation. The problem is that I don't generally do it. I don't generally saturate my pictures when I put them on Facebook, but I was playing around with some settings, so I wanted to see what would happen, and you could see what happened. The black looks blue. So yeah, I just printed it off just for my own purposes. Not that it's really a good picture, but somebody that doesn't know what they look like will be like, holy cow, that spider's cool, it's blue. Yeah, which way is the best way? I guess this way. This is Haley the Brachypelma emilia, male. After its molt, I was probably like 4 or 5 days after its molt, still cuddled up in the corner. I took that picture when I was filling the water dish. I remember it specifically because I was looking at him the whole time while I was filling the water dish, because that's like right at the very edge of him being able to just crawl right out of there. And so I took a quick picture and was watching while I was doing the watering, and he didn't move one muscle. Ornithoctinae species louse sling. This was before the last molt, so it's a little bluer than it was now and a little bit lighter. So it's got, you know, these browns are grayish now. So pretty cool. This is the Sericopelma rubronitans. This is the one that I've had for months and months and months now that I have two. I like the picture because I shined a light from the back side down the burrow and then took a picture through the enclosure wall. It turned out really well. I like it because it looks like he's got a mohawk. This one I named Rubik, but I should have named it Mohawk, but I named this one Rubik. So I'm going to pause you here, and then we'll pick up the rest of them and finish this out. It's going to be a little bit long, and I hope you guys enjoy this. It's a little bit different, but I think it's kind of cool. Okay, this is the Ensiocotella olivacea. Again, still unnamed. I just can't find a name that's suiting for it. We'll figure it out eventually, but this isn't my favorite picture of her. The last one that I printed was my favorite picture of her, but I have some really good pictures of this tarantula. This is the little Grammostola grossa envy. Actually, it's Grammostola iharingi, but don't tell anybody. Like I said before, there was a big mix-up in these between the iharingi and the grossa, and actually the grossa is the iharingi, and the iharingi is kind of an undescribed tarantula, because the one that it was actually described as is no longer a recognized species. So I'm not going to get into all that because it's not worth it. But this is envy, Grammostola iharingi grossa. This is actually one of my favorite pictures that I, because it's kind of like the tarantula's getting ready to pounce on you. This is Cujo. This is the Grammostola pulchripes. This is relatively soon after it had molted, probably 3 or 4 days. It was out and about, moving around, and the way it was sitting, it was a perfect opportunity to take a picture, so I did. There's Cheeto. Everybody loves Cheeto, and I like this picture because the way that the webbing is done here in this circle, and it kind of works right in with the tree that we have here, and then the shadow of the tree over top of the ocular area of Cheeto. It's kind of a spooky looking picture, and it's much more daunting in person than it is here looking through the camera, but I like the picture, so I decided to print it. This is the Euapolastris campostratus, the one that we named Casper, the one that molted recently. Just like the way that the spider was actually kind of turning coming out of the skull there. The skull kind of centralizes your focus right on the spider there, so I just like the picture. This picture is of Nikita. You guys might, it is kind of a little dark, isn't it? But this picture my 4-year-old granddaughter took with my phone. So I had to print it out for her so she could take it home with her. But she didn't do bad, actually, for a 4-year-old. She held the camera much more steady than I do. We had to take 3 pictures of it because the first 2 were a little fuzzy. But once she got the hang of actually holding the camera still and hitting that snap picture, or the snap button, then she actually did a pretty good job. This is a close-up of the Damon diadema. I think the camera focused a tad bit more on the cricket than it did the diadema, but it's still, I think it's a pretty cool picture. I could see this picture on one of those, you know, encyclopedia books on animals. It's just that look of it, you know, it's pretty cool. This is the foot of Salem, the Psalmopoeus pulcher female. I used the macro lens while she was eating and got some, you know, really good pictures of this area, and then I took a real close-up of this area, but it was a tad bit fuzzy, so I didn't print it out. But you could see the way that the hairs are and how fine these hairs are on the top of her foot, or her tarsa. This is the small unsexed Neoholothelli ense. Again, the picture is just the way that the spider is centered in this picture was really cool to me. And I like the webbing. You know, the webbing really makes the photos kind of intriguing. So, again, you know, I printed off 46 of these today. So, and I deleted about probably 220 pictures off of my camera that, you know, were just multiples, or the spider was out of focus, or it was off to the side, or there was a water dish in front of it, you know. So, yeah, I spent a little bit of time getting these printed off. I thought this picture was kind of cool too, and I took this with the macro lens, and what I did is I put the carapace of, I think this is Cheeto, I can't remember, it could be somebody else, I honestly can't remember what spider I used, but I took the carapace off the molt, and I put it on a piece of styrofoam, and I put a light underneath it so that the light would shine up through the eye patterning there, the ocular patterning of the 8 eyes for the tarantula. So I thought this was really cool, so I had to actually print it. It was just impossible not to. This is Chaos, the Pteronochelys marinus. There'll be another picture of her coming up, actually. Just a simple, basic picture of her, but it turned out real well. Again, the centering of everything, the webbing, just, you know, kind of just draws you right there to her. And then, you know, the fading in the black to dark is really cool. One of my favorite pictures that I've taken. This was a picture I took of the orange morph of the Babyceras or Babycurus jacksoni. Again, I lost both of these scorpions. I didn't keep them right, apparently. I don't know. I was doing pretty good, especially with this one, was doing real well, and it just died on us. That one died, and the chocolate one died. Oh, I think a couple weeks before this one did. So I had to keep one of the pictures, and I think this is the best picture that I actually had of it. I don't like the way that it sits because, you know, it doesn't look bad that way, but any other way that you hold the picture, it's not really all that particularly great. This here was one of the 2 pictures I printed off of my Harpactira pulchripes. This lady is with Ruth at Mostly Reptiles. I wanted her to breed something cool. Not that she hasn't, but I wanted to give her something that I had, that I raised. So I sent her, well, I mailed it to her. I sent her, and I ended up, that's where I got the, I think this is where I got the Brachypelma albiceps, the Faunopelma moderatum, the Brachypelma shorderi. There was the Damon diadema. I think there was one other thing that she sent, I can't remember. Oh, Brachypelma classy, but that one didn't make it. Oh, and the Baumgarteni. So that's what I got for her. And I wanted to get more brackies, and I was trying to get away from some of the old world species. That was just a dumb time in my thought process of keeping, that I wanted to try and stay away from the faster species, which actually, to be honest with you, I have less trouble with them than I do with some of the old world terrestrials that move a lot quicker than you expect them to. This lady is with Quentin. This is the Avicularia rufa. Again, one of my favorite pictures. That's shooting down into her cork bark. Just love the the whites and the yellows and the different shades of brown in her, and then the very bottom pink part of her toes. Picture turned out real well. Here is the other picture of the Harpactira pulchripes, or pulchripes is what it should say, right? Pulchripes. Yeah, she was just striking. Just a beautiful tarantula, easy to keep. Didn't give me much fuss at all. Just a good time. But again, I really wanted to get this girl to roost so she could breed her. I'm assuming she's probably going to get her bred this year. I think she's still on the search for a male, but once she does, she should be ready to go. And that's Delaney, my Ephebopus murinus. Hopefully she's a female. I'm calling her a female because I want her to be a female. But she's a New World tarantula, and it seems like all my New World tarantulas turn out males. So, yeah, hopefully she'll be a she. This was taken not even, I don't know, a week and a half ago or so. I think about 10 days, maybe. I actually have the clip of this. I don't know if I actually uploaded that clip of her feeding that time, but yeah. There is Sanguida. That is the Ceratojaurus darlingi. Again, just a strikingly beautiful specimen. She is just awesome. I just love her to death, even though she's up all the time now. I'll do a quick video update of her before the week is over. Oops. There is a close-up done with the macro of Cheeto. Really focused well on the Chelicerae. This picture overall, when it shrunk down, or when you see it on the phone, this foot is back farther, and the whole tarantula seems to be back farther. And it's almost like it's like levitating. It's really cool, the whole entire picture. But we blew it up and brought it a little bit forward, just to get a close up of the Chelicerae, and then you could see the ocular patterning there. I'm pretty sure that's whose carapace we saw earlier. That is the Cereocosmus Ore, probably one of my favorite pictures I took of her. This was back when she was just a sling, probably a little over an inch and a half. This was when she was in a deli cup. This is when she took a walk on me, right after this picture. She come out of her enclosure after I took this picture. She came out again, farther, went to take the picture, and she just crawled right out. So this is a kind of good memory for me. Well, not a good memory, a bad memory, but it's a pretty cool picture to remind me. Almost done. There's Obi, our buddy Obi, Brachypelma hamori. This will be good because you can see, with the picture, the white on the knees, and then you could see the Chelicerae. See the Chelicerae there? On a Smithy, those will be completely black, the Chelicerae. So you could see the banding. There's a band right there and a band right there of dark color, and then you have that like gold in between, or orange. So that's the two ways to tell them apart, by just looking at them. There is the female, quote unquote, we're hoping, suspected female. That's the Brachypelma albopilosum Honduras, a Honduran form. You can see how brown she is right now. She's in need of a molt, but she just ate a week and a half ago, so I'm not expecting it anytime soon. She's real active too, so we'll see. That picture I just took the other day, that is the female Neoholothelli insae that just molted. So yeah, I think that picture turned out well. She's still kind of hunkered down, recovering. This is before she started doing her yoga stretch, which she's been doing for the last couple days now. There's Eddie, the Ephebopus rufescens. Just a spectacular spider. Just unbelievably, strikingly beautiful. Such contrasting colors with the gold, the black, the gold and black in the carapace, the green in the abdomen that, kind of goes in the black, and then the lighter colored legs in the backside. Just absolutely unbelievable. Next two are probably my favorite pictures I printed out today. That is Calypso Chaos. That was her last feeding, and she was very, very, very calm, as she usually is with worms. She come right out. She was eating it up top, and she started to crawl back in. I took this picture, and I blew it up. Of course, I magnified it on my phone, and then that's how I printed it out. So the other picture's back a little bit farther, and you could see more of her, the surrounding area around her. But this just absolutely is just unbelievably cool. Those legs are just like boom, right in your face. And the last one, you guys should recognize this one. This is what you see at the very end of my intro video. This is Arkham, the Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, the green bottle blue. I'm actually speechless every time I look at this picture, to be honest with you, that I was fortunate enough to get that guy to sit where he was. The lighting was perfect. I used the macro lens on that, and I actually took more pictures of the inside part of the Chelestre, but they didn't come out as well because it's so dark back inside there. But I think this picture is just absolutely cool. So yeah, so again, I know this was almost 26 minutes long. But at least you got to hear me talk about each spider a little bit, and you got to see some pretty cool prints. So what I'll do maybe is I'll put some of these prints up and on my Eerie Arachnids group or page. Hold on one second. Sorry about that. We were almost out of that 15-minute time there. I did this. It took way too long to do this, but I'll put these pictures up and the other ones that I had printed off. I'll try to get those all uploaded to my Eerie Arachnids page, and if there's any that anybody's interested in, you can let me know, and I can get them printed off, and we could figure something out. So, yeah, I'd like to get one like on a canvas, maybe the picture of Chaos with her legs coming out, or that picture of Arkham and his carapace, that close-up. You can get them on that, like, I think it's 4x4 or 4x8 canvas or whatever it is. I don't think it's all that expensive. I think it's like $6.99 or something. I got done at Walmart, so I might do that. And maybe I'll put these pictures up and everybody can pick their favorite. And then that one that has the most likes, maybe we'll use that one, and I'll get a canvas of it blown up, and we'll use that as a giveaway or something. So, okay, well, again, you're looking at a log. This is the stack of pics. So I'll put those with the other ones, and I'll try to find these all on my camera and then load them up to the Eerie Arachnid site over the course of the next week or so, and then I'll let you guys know, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching this. Again, this is something different, but I had a lot of fun doing it, actually. So we'll see everybody later, and bye.